Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, trend update, burden of Damascus, Russian embassy takes fire, October 4, 2016. Two scripture reference for this is in Isaiah 17, verse 1 and verse 9. So here's verse 1. The oracle concerning Damascus. Behold, Damascus is about to be removed from being a city and will become a fallen ruin. One thing about Damascus, their claim to fame is it is one of the longest inhabited cities on the face of the planet. So they've clearly never had a time where they've not been uninhabited. So this hasn't happened yet. The Bible says it will. Isaiah 17 verse 9, in that day their strong cities will be forsaken places in the forest, or like branches which they abandoned before the sons of Israel, and the land will be a desolation. And if you've seen any of the video coming out of Syria, I mean, there are multiple cities that have just been laid waste by all the war that's taking place in this country. Which leads us to yesterday, October 3, 2016. The United States suspended talks with Russia regarding the conflict in Syria. Now, the United States blames Russia for the increased violence and bloodshed. And this is from State Department spokesman John Kirby. Unfortunately, Russia failed to live up to its own commitments. Rather, Russia and the Syrian regime have chosen to pursue a military course. This is not a decision that was taken lightly. Now, in response to that, the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman, Maria Zakharova, we regret this decision by Washington. Washington simply did not fulfill the key condition of the agreement to improve the humanitarian condition around Aleppo. After failing to fulfill agreements that they themselves worked out, they are trying to shift responsibility onto someone else. And so, if you're interested more about the conditions of this, refusal to talk to each other, I guess is what you could call it, you can check out the bbc.com. October 4, 2016, now this is the Russian embassy in Damascus has come under fire and taken mortar shells. Terrorists are being blamed for the attack, and the Russian ministry has stated that the attack is the result of U.S. policy and allies which, quote, provokes further bloodshed in Syria, end quote. Now, there were no deaths reported in the mortar shelling at this time. I believe there are just a couple of mortar fire shells that were launched into the compound. Some injuries are reported. Russia is calling this a terrorist attack, and security has been increased in the area. Now, if you want to check out a complete timeline of the events, I've got a link provided to the New York Times for the article. Also, RT.com out of Russia, I have a link to that, and in BBC.com there's some information. Now, interestingly, while this stuff is going on in the Middle East, and the United States and Russia are exchanging verbal spars, October 4 through October 7, Russia is conducting an incredible civil and military exercise. And they are preparing for an evacuation drill in the event of nuclear war. So they're practicing to a response to nuclear war. 40 million people are involved. That includes citizens in and around Moscow. 200,000 plus emergency service personnel are participating. In addition to 50,000 pieces of equipment are being utilized for this drill. Now, the Russian government officials, they state they are preparing for nuclear war. And the citizens are reported to be terrified because they fear that the United States will start a nuclear war with Russia. Now, the Russians state they can shelter all 12 million citizens of Moscow in bunkers in case of nuclear war. Putin is also building a 400 square mile facility in a remote area of the Ural Mountains. And so, according to sources, he looks to manage a future conflict from this location. So, While things are picking up in the Middle East, Russia is coincidentally tucking away 40 million plus citizens in underground bunkers, involving emergency personnel and significant equipment. thesun.co.uk, a link for that is provided as well. Something's going on. I don't know what it is, but it's not good anytime a major country decides to move 40 million of its citizens. That's not something you get together for giggles to do. So definitely the situation merits investigation. If you're interested in these topics, please feel free to check out paulthepoke.com. Trend update, burden of Damascus, Russian embassy, Vladimir Putin. Those are your key words. Thanks for listening. Take care.